Hey everyone, it's Michelle Whirl in the studio, and I'm excited to be sharing with you today a journal page. Working in my Dina Wakley Media journal, and I'm going to be sharing some new products today, so it's very exciting. But the first thing I'm going to do is actually lay down some acrylic paint into the journal page. These colors are olive and fur, and I'm really just going to you want to take something wide, either like I've got the wide silicone brush. You could take wide strip of like scrap cardboard or cardstock. You could take a wide brush, right? I'm really just smearing the colors around in no particular order or pattern. I'm just trying to get good coverage of both olive and fur on there. And then I'm going to add some contrast. And so this is aloe that I'm bringing in, kind of a similar technique. Again, I want some variety in the colors. So good coverage, want the whole page to be covered pretty much, but with lots of blending and good variety there. And then that is the new stencil called Groovy Coaster. And I'm going in with more olive. I've got like a little palette off to the side, and I'm kind of blending the colors together a little bit too to get some variations. Just have fun with it. Getting some lighter and darker tones in there just to make it more interesting. Now, thinking about flowers and a flowery background, a lot of this is actually going to get covered up, but I wanted to start to bring in some reds and some brighter colors. So this is raspberry. Similar technique, I'm just kind of going very randomly around the page with it, using my brush to push the color through the stencil. And now I have grabbed Dina's dotted tape stencil, and I'm adding more layers. I know it looks like a hot mess right now, but I promise it's going to make sense in a little bit. But I'm putting, I think it's cheddar that I'm putting through, a little bit more aloe, and you can see, like I said, I'm kind of blending as I go. So the colors are wet on wet, and they're very blended when you're going through with the stencils. And I did a quick splatter of aloe and some water mixed together too. Okay, so now I'm taking a water-soluble pencil, and I am just going to loosely draw 3 flowers. I would love to tell you exactly what type of flower they are, but I can't. They're sort of poppy-ish flowers. I kind of used what is the shapes that I saw there, what was kind of left over after I quit adding all the stenciled layers. I sort of took a minute and looked around, and I saw 3 shapes that sort of looked poppy-ish, they're orbs. And then I added 3 stencils or 3 stems to them. So have fun with it. And then now I'm going to dip back into the paint, into aloe, with a fairly wide brush. This is probably like a 1-inch brush. And I'm just starting to go around the shapes that I drew, to kind of carve around them with a little bit of negative painting. And again, it doesn't have to be really exact. These are just kind of loosely shaped orbs and some curvy stems. So the cool thing about this technique is if you do it while the paints are still pretty wet, it's this wet on wet technique, right? And everything's going to get it's going to get some good blending in there. And the background is going to have some really cool texture and variety to the colors. That blended effect is just really hard to get otherwise. You'll also see me go in with gesso in kind of the lower corner over there. I just did it a little bit just a few seconds ago. I use gesso instead of white paint, so I'll go in with some white in parts of the background as well, just to kind of brighten it up. And you'll see, where the paint is more wet than not, it'll start to blend. You can see where like that cheddar started to pull in as well. So again, just kind of playing around with the shapes that I drew. I'm doing some editing to them. So, where I felt like the flower was maybe a little bit large when I first drew it. I'm kind of painting around and changing that up, and that's really kind of the fun of creating this as you go. So what I'm going to do is speed this up and let you watch me sort of paint in and fill in the rest of this background, and then I'm going to come back and show you a few more elements that I added to the page. So I will be right back. All right, so I'm back, and now I'm going to bring in an accent. This is one of the face stamps from the new Flower Crowns stamp set, and I've just kind of put it over there in the left corner where I had left some of the underpainting exposed. And then I'm also going to grab one of the quotes that's part of this Flower Crowns stamp set. I thought this quote was just perfect for this layout, and I stamped it with black ink onto a scrap piece of gel printed paper that I had, just some collage paper I had lying around. You could stamp it on anything that you like, and I put it aside for now, but I'll end up cutting that up in just a bit, and you'll see that as well. But for now, I wanted to give the face a little bit of time to dry. I'm going to go in with some of the colors that I used in the layout already. So I'm going to use raspberry. I think I'm going to pull in some cheddar as well. And I'm just adding a little bit of accents to the face, not just some highlight, some color in the cheeks, a little bit to the lips. You know, have fun with this. And you know, this is something I could I could sit and do and just mess with it, you know, all day and forever. So I won't show you, you know, all the different iterations and variations that I played around with. But like I just, like I said, I wanted to, the primary goal was to pull in some of the colors I had already used and to help the stamped image to really feel like it was part of the layout and not, you know, just sitting on top of it. So, you know, just kind of being intuitive here with pulling in, like I said, the other colors, blending with my fingers. It's kind of a push and pull, you know, just have fun with it. And so we're getting to the end. Now, one thing I didn't show in the video, but you should be able to see it there just to the right of the face stamp, is I did use some of the new rub-ons that are part of the new release as well, and they're called Flutters. And I just used some of the words randomly kind of along the stem there. And I also used them up at the top of the page, but covered up it a good bit with paint, but they actually show through the paint, which was really cool effect. And then, yeah, the last thing I did was take the quote, I cut it up into, you know, little strips and adhere that down to my page using Dina's media glue. And that is it. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.